Hey guys, Underground Geek here, and I just want to do a review of this True Believers Avengers. I've had a lot of people requesting to do a review on one of these, and I picked out the Avengers. It looked like a really good copy, and I had ordered these a while back from Midtown Comics, and they just got here, so it's a perfect opportunity. Some people use another comic book site that they sent me on Twitter. Now, I've tried that one, but it's very confusing because when you go on there, you could only go to like trade paperbacks, and then go to DC or Marvel, and then it's like every comic that Marvel's ever made in alphabetical order. So it's kind of confusing being able to keep up with what's just come out and then ordering on that way. So I've been using Midtown Comics; they're pretty good. Well, anyway, we've got this great cover here. It's the 100th anniversary or birthday of Kirby, and then we've got the Submariner is in this issue as well, but this is the reintroduction of Captain America, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so on this cover here, we've got Captain America joins the Avengers, and I really like the way they do these covers. Giant man's giant because reasons. A tale destined to become a magnificent milestone in the Marvel age of comics, bringing you the great superhero which your wonderful avalanche of fan mail demanded. Look at that! Listening to fans. Can you believe it at Marvel? Imagine that. But you've got gloriously written by Stan Lee, grandly illustrated by Jack Kirby, gallantly lettered by Art Simic. Nobody talks like that anymore, and I really like that. I wish that they do that more often in the new comics. But it says, "Step forward, Captain America. Your rightful place is here among the Avengers." And then you kind of get a little bit of the backstory of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Editor's note here: "We sincerely suggest you save the issue. We feel you will treasure it in time to come." If they only knew how true that was. So moving on here, we're on to the first pages, and if you'll notice, look at what all is going on in this comic book. Like, I forgot how much went on in these older comics. There's some great storytelling here. Like, they're actually telling a story as opposed to having characters with no personality. So you've got Submariner here fighting the Avengers, and he was actually fighting with the Hulk, but the Hulk ran away for whatever reason. Maybe he turned back into Bruce Banner. So Nomura knew he couldn't fight them all by himself, so he ran away. So he's underneath the water now, and he's upset because he still can't find his people. And it really kind of tells the story of a misunderstood anti-hero, not really a villain. But anyway, as he's searching around, he's in the Antarctic now, and he comes across these Inuits, and they're worshiping this frozen man, and he's upset already. So he grabs the frozen man up and calls him a bunch of idiots and throws it into the water and starts breaking it apart, and it floats off and defrosts a little bit, and at this point you can kind of tell somebody's in there. Well, anyway, it gets found by the Avengers, and they bring it up and defrost it, and it's Captain America. And so they kind of know about the legend of him, because this was World War II, and I think this is in the 60s. But they're kind of examining everything, examining him, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, and he still thinks it's World War II, so he's all over the place. He's fighting them, he's calling out for Bucky, he's got this whole situation going on. So then he kind of figures out what's going on, and he introduces himself as Captain America, full military stance style. So at this point, they don't really believe him, and they start trying to fight him, and he's single-handedly outmaneuvering every one of them. But then Wasp kind of calms him down, and as they're sitting there talking, it goes to the next scene where he's talking about what happened to him in World War II and the events that caused him to be frozen, and then we've got him having more problems dealing with the being frozen in ice, and they say, "Hey, we've arrived at our destination." So as they're getting off there, they've got these paparazzi here trying to take pictures of them because they're the famous Avengers, and something has happened because one of the photographers turned him to stone. And so now you've only got Captain America left, and so he's going to have to find out what's going on in the story. At first, he's kind of still getting his bearings, figuring out what's happening. He's looking at cars and stuff, kind of wondering about the technology. Everybody's staring at him because of his outfit. So as he's sitting here pondering his life, he thinks he sees Bucky Barnes, but it's actually Bruce Banner, the Hulk. And so he kind of befriends Bruce Banner as the person, and Bruce talks to him, and so they got pictures from where the Avengers had their pictures taken to kind of find out who would turn them to stone, who's the bad guy. And as they're doing the forensics, they find, oh, there he is, he's got his gun. So, I mean, we've already got a good storytelling here. We've got real stuff going on, actual story, as opposed to, you know, everybody standing around and doing nothing the whole episode and talking about how great they are or how terrible their life is. So then they're trying to track down the guy. Captain America finds him. He knocks in the window. There's a bunch of gangsters with him. They start having a fight. Captain America single-handedly taking them all on. Then he gets one-on-one with the bad guy, and kind of find out the bad guy is actually a asparagus, and so everybody kind of realizes, hey, this guy's an alien, and they go running off. And he talks about how he's from space and he was stranded there, and he's been trying to get help, but nobody will listen to him because he's so hideous, and he has to use his gun to stop people from hurting him. And then the Submariner kind of befriended him and tried to get him to take out the Avengers. So at this point, we've got Captain America dragging him back to the scene. He's turning everybody back into normal again. Well, Submariner's not happy at this point. So we've already got a good story going here. We've got some good action. You know, there's actually plot development. And so then Submariner finds out about this. And every time I see Submariner, he kind of reminds me of that movie Flash Gordon. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the eyebrows or the outfit or something, but it always reminds me of that movie Flash Gordon. But so Submariner has now found his people. He's found some elite soldiers, and so he goes and meets up with them because he's actually the prince of the Atlanteans. Well, at this point, the Avengers are preoccupied under the water with trying to free the alien ship so he can go home. And as they're doing all this, there's a lot going on. They're trying to get it out of the water and all that good stuff. And then as they finally get it freed, lo and behold, they're getting attacked. And Namor has gotten the Atlantean troops with him, and they're on full siege now. They're attacking them. So at this point, you've got some good action. You've got Iron Man dodging out of the way. Submariner kind of awkwardly needs him. And Iron Man gives him a little bit of repulsor to the face. Namor is extremely strong, so he jerks up the side of this rock, throws it at him, takes Iron Man out. He's got him in a hold, and then the Wasp shows up and tries to help him. And is that Kang? Does that look like Kang to you? That's weird. That's what he looks like to me. But so then you've got Thor using his hammer on the guys, and he says, "It's Thor. He's holding my men at bay with that wretched hammer of his." I mean, who talks like that? This is some great dialogue right here. "Fall back. Wait for the command of our Lord Namor." And so they're attacking again, and Thor is single-handedly taking them out with a hammer. But Namor knees him in the face and causes him to drop the hammer. And you want me to put the hammer down? You know, it's that whole scene all over again. So at this point, they are releasing, they've captured Giant Man under the water, and they're releasing a giant fish to try to take him out, but he gets away and jumps back on the land, and he's attacking them all again because, you know, Giant Man's pretty strong. And so then he grabs a hold of Namor. Everybody's trying to hold him down. He tries to pick up Thor's hammer, and Thor snatches it away quickly. I can't remember if he picked up Thor's hammer or not. You know, there's like so many people's picked it up now, they've kind of taken away the magic of it. But so at this point, Captain America is kind of sitting at the distance watching, but he decides to help him, and but he sees it as maybe Namor's getting attacked, so he's just trying to fight everybody, and then Namor grabs a hold of Captain America and shows how strong he is, and Captain America acknowledges his strength. He says, he's stronger than me, but I'll find a way to outmaneuver him. So then the island's starting to break apart because they've been fighting so much and trying to get that ship out, and so Namor and his people jump in the water, and they're running away as a giant earthquake is starting to happen because the ship is coming out, and he thinks that maybe the earthquake will take them out, but he doesn't know that they're trying to free the ship. And at this point, the alien has gotten in the ship and he's flying away. And there's some funny dialogue here, with the wasp. This would never be said nowadays, but it says, "I thought you'd never notice Blue Eyes. I was doing what any girl would do in a moment of crisis, powdering my nose, of course." I mean, imagine that nowadays. The women would cringe. So at this point, Captain America is now welcomed into the Avengers, and the Hulk's been watching from a distance, and he's kind of wondering about, maybe I should join up with Captain America too, because they've kind of become friends at this point. So that was the issue, a good story. We've got some other good variant covers here of Avengers 10, and then we got Avengers number 4, tribute to Alex Ross. Got a great cover there. We got Avengers Captain America Lives Again, kind of like the front cover. Avengers number 4, Wizard Ace edition. And then we've got a variant on that same cover here, Essential Avengers Volume 1 trade back cover. So that compared to the original right there, you kind of see what all is going on. But I think this is a really great issue, and I wish that they would go back to the storytelling like this right here, because there's actually a story happening. There's a beginning, middle, and end. They've got to accomplish something, and then there's a conclusion. And that's what every comic book should be. I should be able to pick up a comic book, read the story, and it stand on its own. Now I understand that you've got certain ones that tell stories, so they can't all be like that. If it's like a four issue miniseries or something in that issue, then you're going to have to read all of them. Sorry, but for the most part, they should be like this. I mean, just great storytelling, great art. Something's being done, something's being accomplished. We're not sitting around talking about how great we are. We're not getting merit for doing nothing. But I really like this. This is my first review of a True Believers issue, and I've got some more that I'm going to do. But all in all, great issue. Now, I had some other stuff I was going to show you guys. A while back, I went to something called Heroes and Villains. It's a convention. It's a small convention, but I went to it because a lot of my favorite actors were going to be there. I watched that show Arrow on CW, and a lot of those people were going to be there, and I thought, that'd be great. I'll get their autographs, I'll meet them. So when I went, I actually got to meet Stephen Amell, the guy that plays Arrow. I talked to him for just a minute, and I got him to actually sign this comic book. It was the only one I could find that had him on it. Everybody else had bought all the other Arrow season, because I don't necessarily just go buy this comic book. It's not really a great comic book, but since I had him on it, I got him to sign it. And so I met him. I talked to him about working with what's his name? Gosh, the Russian guy. Anyway, Dolph Lundgren. I talked to him about what it was like working with him, and he said, that he's very methodical. When he's on the set working on a scene, he's like, we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then we're moving on to this. He said he was very, very cut and dry about what he'd done. So I thought that was very interesting, kind of get somebody's commentary on how it was to work with a different actor. And so from then on, I got to meet, I think his name's Michael Rooker. Now, James Gunn was there. I didn't get his autograph, but I got Michael Rooker's autograph. And this is a very weird guy. I met him in real life. He had like sunglasses on in the building, and he was talking weird to people, but he seemed like he was nice though. But I got his autograph too. And then, excuse the dust on this one, but I got to meet Constantine. I thought that was really cool. Now he was a very nice guy, but he's very short in real life. Uh, but I got his autograph there. Got to meet him, and it was pretty cool. I like that. It was a great experience. But I just want to share my experience with that, and kind of open up more about my history with comic books and things of that nature. And maybe you could tell me your stories down in the comics section about you meeting famous people and how it was like meeting them. Stephen Amell was one of the nicest persons I ever met. I mean, he people I've ever met. He was very, very nice. And so was the Constantine actor. He was very nice as well. We sit and talk for just a minute, and there was actually a short line to meet Constantine, but I think he's a great actor. I like the show. But anyway, so that was my review, a little bit about me. So I'd appreciate it if you hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the dinger so you can get all the notifications, and tell me what you thought about this. All right, guys. See you later.